Well, good afternoon. I'm back again for my weekly video. I'm saddened to have to start this week with the sad news, which I'm sure all of you know by now, of the death of John Lewis, one of the last of the major civil rights icons, just a hero, someone who marched with Martin Luther King and was the youngest of the main people who were Martin Luther King's lieutenants, who's had just a brilliant career in the House as the conscience really of Congress, and what a significant loss. I'm reminded that just 9 months ago we lost Elijah Cummings, and when you think about both people and their impact, first of all, it's sad, but it's not that surprising given that neither one were that young. But yeah, even though it's not unexpected at some point, when it happens, it is just devastating, and I just don't know how else to explain it. We just lost someone who meant so much to so many people, and he will be missed. The big news this week, of course, was the announcement of what the fall semester is going to look like here at Wayne State. I made the announcement on July 15th, which was the date that had been advertised all along as the date that we would be announcing our decisions. And we had a town hall on Thursday, the 16th. I'm not going to go over everything that was covered by the town hall. It was well attended, and it was over an hour long. But I will just mention the highlight is that about 20% of the classes will be in person on campus. About 46% will be either remote or online, and then the rest is hybrid or individually arranged. And we have a lot of those because of our graduate student population and PhD theses and other theses and other special projects. So that kind of makes up our anticipated makeup of classes. I feel pretty comfortable with that at this point right now, but the situation with COVID-19 is evolving, and we did emphasize that we have to be flexible. We had to make a decision at some point so that the registrar could get the appropriate classes up, and faculty and students can make plans, but we also have to be somewhat flexible in that proportion of type of instruction of the different classes might have to change a little bit. Certainly, as I mentioned last week, the situation with COVID-19 is not going in the right direction. This past week, we had over 4,200 confirmed cases, which is the highest weekly amount since mid-May. So things are not going in the right direction. On the somewhat better news is that the death rates are not increasing commensurate with the amount of cases. There are different reasons for that. One is we're testing a lot more, so we're not just testing people who are symptomatic, but we're testing people who are not symptomatic, and so that's going to affect the death rate. We know a little bit more about treatment. Remdesivir has been proven to be helpful. Dexamethasone, a steroid, is shown to be helpful. And one of the things that we've learned is that COVID-19 causes a curious blood clotting disorder, and so blood thinners have been found to be helpful. And then the final thing is that who COVID-19 is infecting, and it's infecting a lot more younger people who are at lower risk for death. So that part is both good news and bad news, I suppose. It's good news that less people are dying, but I am concerned that it's affecting young people more, and because the death rate in young people is lower, maybe young people are not taking the disease as serious as they should. The thing to remember is that this disease is going to have a lasting impact, particularly in the lungs, that could affect people, many years or decades later. So it's not something to trifle with. So the main message is continue to be vigilant. Wear a mask. It's really not that big a deal. Everybody should wear a mask, both indoors and outdoors if you're in any sort of public space or if you have any chance of interacting with anyone. It's just better to just wear a mask, and that will save a lot of infections and a lot of lives. Okay, I forgot. I mentioned John Lewis earlier. I should mention that we invited him to come to Wayne State earlier this year to be our guest speaker for Martin Luther King Day. Because of his health, he wasn't able to make it, but he sent a very nice note with one of his books, which he signed and he commented in, and I can't remember which one it is because it's in my office right now and I'm at home. But I plan to read that next after the book I'm reading now. It may take me a while though, because the book I'm reading now is a long one. It's called Shantaram, and it's almost 1,000 pages. It's set in Bombay, and it's very well written. You really get a sense of the city. I've been to India several times, but for some reason have not been to Bombay. I'm really getting the sense of what Bombay is like by reading this book. It's a page turner. I'm enjoying it. It's loosely based on real facts, but it is a novel. I can't remember the author right now, but it may take me a while to get there, as I mentioned. First of all, its length, but also, one of the things I'm finding is that a lot of different organizations and associations that I'm associated with have figured out ways to continue to do its business despite the fact that we can't socially get together. And so there are a lot more evening events starting to pop up now that I have to participate in. Organizations are just finding ways to continue to do what they've always done, just in a slightly different way, even to the point of having a virtual cocktail hour. So I am a bit more busier in the evenings now than I was when the pandemic first started. But I think that's a good thing, that organizations and associations are just finding ways to continue to do their business and just innovate. Having said that, I'm preparing tonight for an APOU virtual conference, president's panel, which I'm participating on with a couple of other presidents related to strategic communications. So I'm going to sign off now, but hope to see you next week. And until then, stay warrior strong and warrior safe.